In today's video of Thailand's tasty stories, a British tourist is looking at up to 10 years in a Thai prison for something you see every day and something that a lot of you probably do. A night of innocent fun leads to multiple lives lost and others left blind. And as for our last story of the day, by far the craziest, remember that last argument you got into with your girlfriend? Well, what if instead of the silent treatment, she trafficked you to a war zone? I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going over some trending stories coming out of Thailand. I have cherry-picked the ones that I thought were absolutely wild that you guys would enjoy hearing about. I've also picked a few other ones that have some very advantageous lessons to be learned if you're planning on coming to Thailand soon. Some things you should absolutely avoid because, as always, on this channel, I either learn the lessons myself or I hunt them down across the cyber wasteland that is the internet, so you don't have to learn them the hard way. Let's get into the video. Now, this first story, if you've been keeping up with the channel, may seem very familiar. It was one of those situations where I had to make sure I had to cross-reference, I had to look at dates, I had to look at writers, just to make sure I wasn't sharing the same story with you guys again. But lo and behold, it's not. This is an entirely new situation. Something along these same lines just happened a couple weeks ago, and it's safe to say that the Thai locals, as well as the authorities, are running this one down as hard as they can. Coming to us from the Tiger foreigners film chasing and beating Thai man in Phuket street fight reignites debate on weak enforcement in Thailand. Like I said, if you guys keep up with the channel, we covered another story like this just a couple weeks ago. I believe the other one was in Phuket as well. Not to worry, I'll go ahead and summarize for you so you don't have to read it. Viral video shows a group of foreigners outside a Patong restaurant chasing and attacking a Thai man. He even hides under the table in fear. As you can see there, the video looks more like just the aftermath, but once this got posted, of course, it went absolutely viral. A lot of people are really upset. One, because the situation happened in itself. Two, because nobody intervened to try to help this guy. And of course, like we said, another situation like this happened just a couple weeks ago. So of course, people are calling for better enforcement. People are calling for these guys to be held accountable, which I absolutely agree with. And we have said it before, but if you're new to the channel, if you are one of those people who might be confrontational, and maybe when you get a few drinks in you, you're the guy that gets mad at somebody for stepping on your foot on accident, or if somebody's looking at you, you're the, what are you staring at, bro? If you're that type of person in Thailand, it is never gonna work out well for you. Pretty much guarantee that they will be made an example of, because Thai people don't like foreigners coming to their country and doing crap like this. Now, this next story resonated with me quite a bit. I don't want you to think that when I sit here and say, oh, this is dumb, that's dumb, that's dumb, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, as if I think I'm some saint or I've got all the answers. Trust me, I have made plenty of mistakes. Luckily, a lot of them didn't end up as bad as they could, but when it comes to our next story, I am not above this by any means. As I've gotten older, I've started to grasp a bit more the possible consequences that can come from somewhat harmless actions. And this just goes to show that in Thailand, you may see certain things happening all the time, but that doesn't mean if you do those same things, nothing bad might happen to you. Coming to us from MSN, which honestly, I didn't even know was a thing. I'm pretty sure I had an MSN email when I was like 14, but the headline reads, British tourist facing 10 years in prison as, I don't know why this is in quotes, woman he struck while pulling wheelie dies in hospital. There is a CCTV video of this happening. Don't worry, it's not graphic or anything. It's terrible quality, but I'll be sure to include it here for you guys. Now, if you do read Thailand headlines, you might have heard about this story about a week or so ago. What happened was this 22-year-old British kid had one of those electric e-bike, dirt bike things, and he was riding around in the street. He was riding a wheelie down the street. He ran into another lady on a bike. She fell and hit her head. A bunch of people saw this happen. They jumped on the guy, and unfortunately what did end up happening is later that lady passed away in the hospital. Now, of course, I understand when somebody passes away, there needs to be ramifications. Like I said, I do understand, and it is a terrible situation all around. From what we do see in the video, it does seem like an accident. It doesn't seem like in any way this guy tried to hit this lady, but this just goes to show something you may not think is a big deal. If you're doing it in a space that you share with others, something terrible can happen. Now, that's a decent segue into our next story. This is another situation where it's so terrible for the people involved, but I do think there is a lesson to be learned from it. Thailand and anywhere else, I know a lot of people are coming here to have a good time. You want to go out, you want to party, party, you want to have fun, but just like that guy on the bike, it can change in a millisecond. Also coming to us from the tiger, this situation actually happened last year, and it actually took place in Laos, not Thailand, but I think there are lessons to be learned here that you could apply to both places. I know a ton of people coming to Thailand, you want to party, you want to have fun, so I think this is an important thing to understand. Headline reads, "Free shots of death, Brit blinded in Lao methanol horror." A dream backpacking adventure in Laos turned into a nightmare when a 23-year-old Brit was left permanently blind after drinking poisoned spirits at a hostel in Vang Vieng. The poisoning, which struck in November last year, claimed 6 foreign lives in total. Callum McDonald from the UK was one of several travelers served free whiskey and vodka shots laced with methanol last November. Within hours, he began experiencing strange symptoms. I remember having this sort of kaleidoscopic, blinding light in my eyes to the point where I couldn't see anything. I read up on this a lot when it was still developing, like right after it happened. And from what I understand, essentially this place was giving out booze that was bathtub brews. And if you don't know, that can be very dangerous because in that same process, you can produce methanol. Methanol is straight poison, not that regular alcohol is not. But just like this, it can make you go blind and it can kill you. I just want to be clear, I'm not saying that this type of thing happens in Thailand. To my knowledge, that is absolutely not a thing. But I thought this was a good story to cover because I do think it's important for people to understand if you're coming to Thailand and you want to come here, you want to cut loose, you want to have fun, that's absolutely fine. But of course, you still need to make sure you're being as responsible as possible. If you're out and about and something seems not right or something seems weird or you don't trust a place or a situation or whatever, trust your gut. Just keep that in mind. Use the buddy system. Look out for each other. If something feels weird, just bounce. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this next story, I saw it a few days ago. I had no intention of covering it or sharing it with you guys at all, but it has gone absolutely viral. I can't be on my phone without seeing a video or something about it every 10 or 15 minutes. I've tried to look into it more to see if there's more to the story that I'm not understanding, which is why people might be so into it. But also coming to us from the tiger, J Phi under scrutiny after YouTuber charged 4,000 baht for a crab omelet. For those of you who don't know, 4,000 baht is about 120 USD. I know crab is expensive, but hot damn. The Department of Internal Trade announced plans to investigate food pricing at the Michelin recommended restaurant Jai Fei in Bangkok after a well-known YouTuber claimed she was charged 4,000 baht for a crab omelet that should have cost 1,500 baht according to the menu. I admit the crab meat was a very good quality, sweet and delicious, but I did not order any special options. No one informed me that the price would differ from the menu list, which states 1,500 baht. I only realized the price of the dish when I received the bill. Now, the lesson to be learned here, it's kind of dual-pronged. I'm gonna give you a couple pro tips here real quick. One, if you're going out and about, especially if you're going to bars, it's not super common, but it does happen. You need to be checking your bill. If you're gonna be at a place, you're gonna be ordering multiple drinks, especially if it's a loud, kind of chaotic place. A lot of places, every time you order a drink, they'll bring your new bill. Or, sometimes they'll just put a stack of them in there for every drink you have. Sometimes it is true that bill padding does happen. There'll be some other drink on there. Or kind of like this situation, they'll charge you for something else. Another pro tip, one that I use all the time, especially when I go to night markets and things like that, I almost never order anything from anywhere that doesn't have the price posted. Because if you go up and you order food or you order a drink or whatever and the price isn't posted, they can essentially tell you whatever they want after they give it to you and you're kind of stuck with it. The reality of Thailand is foreigner pricing is a thing. I've only had this happen once. I went to order French fries from a lady, like a small French fry, and she tried to charge me 200 baht. If you spent any time in Thailand, you know that is an absolutely ridiculous price for French fries. So it's a little pro tip, try to only go to places where the price is posted. That way you know for sure you're being treated fairly. Now I'll tell you guys, when it comes to dating horror stories, I've got a few. Granted, most of the women I've dated in my life were completely normal. I've only ever dated one, really, that was absolutely out there. But in regards to our next story, I think this has to be platinum level. I'm not sure it gets any higher than this. If you guys think right now, before we get into this next story, that you have the most elite dating horror story, go down in the comments, write it right now, pause the video, just so when we go into this story, you can see that you're wrong. We're all wrong. I'm sure we all think that our story is the craziest, but This one's wild. Coming to us from the Tiger, Chinese girl traffics boyfriend to Myanmar, parties in Thailand. No, this is not clickbait. This is what happened. And I told you guys, we talked about it in the last video when it comes to dating in Thailand. If you haven't watched that yet, go jump back, watch that after this video. It's super important. You gotta protect yourselves, boys. Hopping into the article here, a teenage love story turned into a nightmare when a 19-year-old Chinese boy was betrayed by his 17-year-old girlfriend. Whoa, sus. 17-year-old girlfriend and sold to scam gangs in Myanmar for 100,000 won, around 500,000 Thai baht. The victim, Zhang Jiang of Guangdong province, endured 4 months of torture, forced labor, and starvation before his family finally managed to secure his release for a staggering 350,000 won. The young man first met the girl at a pool hall. His sister later described her as flashy, pointing out her provocative clothes and fake designer bags. The teenager boasted her parents were investment managers and often spoke highly of family business ventures in Myanmar. In February this year, the smitten 19-year-old secretly traveled to Bangkok with his girlfriend. Soon after, relatives became suspicious when friends posted WeChat updates showing him near the Thai-Myanmar border. Things started to feel off when we found out he was at the border. It was there that his girlfriend abandoned him, claiming she had to pick someone up. Armed men seized his passport and phone moments later. Not to worry, he is home now. Unfortunately, his parents did have to pay that ransom to get him back, and the girl got arrested. She tried to go back to China after allegedly just partying her ass off in Bangkok for a month. Then she went back to China. They picked her up there on fraud, trafficking charges. So it sounds like she's gonna go to prison, but this just goes to show, boys, we've all done it. You think someone is normal and awesome. You never end up in a relationship with somebody that you think is terrible or think is capable of like committing these betrayals. You know what I mean? When it comes to you thinking of what somebody is capable of, it's very possible that you're wrong. Thailand, just like anywhere else in the world, if you're gonna come and you're looking for love, do not ignore the red flags. If these things are going on, if you're with a chick that's suspect or something doesn't feel right, do not ignore that. Pay attention to everything and protect yourself out there, fellas. It's a war zone. So some serious lessons to be learned from these stories today. Just goes to show that Thailand, even though it's fun, it's chill, it's laid back, there are still very real consequences to your decisions. So make sure you're remembering that. If you have made it this far in the video, shout out to you. If you enjoyed it and you want to let the algorithm know that we are worthy of internet praise, feel free to go down, hit the like button. If you want to see more from Thailand, subscribe button is right next to it. And as always, I hope you have a great day. But welcome is over. I'll see you. Yep, doors that way. Later.